Hey guys, back again with another episode of Two Guys in a Movie Review with me and John.
Hey,
And we're back again. This time we're going to review The Gauntlet, starring Clint Eastwood. So let's start off with you, John. What were some of your views? What do you think about the movie? And we can talk about the cast as well.
sure. Well, I mean, the opening shot of the movie is Clint Eastwood walking out of a bar when he's supposed to be on duty.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting start. But I mean, the whole premise of the movie is that he's basically a really bad cop who really doesn't care about what goes on around him. He's unshaven, wears no tie. Comes in, goes to work half drunk. But he has some people he can trust on the force, and I mean, the guy who played, who was it? His buddy Josephson tells him, his buddy Josephson got a promotion. He's like, well, I hate this promotion, but I still want to be out in the streets with you.
You mean Pat Hingle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just said that, I wish I was still out in the streets, but I really miss it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their friendship isn't really too involved in the story. It's used to a degree near the end.
Well, if I had to talk about the character, I would say he's a bit like Dirty Harry, except at the same time more. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, he's a little more, I don't know, human.
Yeah, a little bit more human, a little bit more fragile to a sense, but at the same time, still that tough guy.
Yeah.
So I would say the character is a lot like Dirty Harry, but with feelings and with more emotion.
Exactly. And his main thing in this movie is that the brand new commissioner tells him, well, there's this case that we have, but the main person who's supposed to testify is in Vegas. So this is a nothing trial with a nothing witness. Go get her, bring her back, no big deal.
Yeah.
And here's the extradition to show them this, and they'll just bring her back. It's no problem.
Well, the character is, let's get the name right, Gus Malley, played by Sandra Locke.
Sandra Locke, yeah.
That's it. And the character is really interesting. I found that the character was very tough.
Yeah.
But at the same time was also a bit like Ben Shockley in the fact that was tough, but was actually quite fragile at the same time and very needed that chemistry. I feel like the chemistry between the two main characters worked pretty well.
And well, they made like 5 movies together, when they were together. And her character is a prostitute, so she really has to have the street smarts and be tough anyway.
Yeah.
So she sees O'Malley as just some punk who's gonna go pick her up, and she tells him, I think there's a hit out on me for what I know.
Yeah.
And Clint Eastwood's like, well, why would they do that? This is a nothing case. I'm just taking you to get this done, and I'm my hands are awash to it basically.
Yeah, well, what we've got to remember is the bit with the racing, 70-1. But how he went there, and that's what made him believe her.
Yeah, because was it the Phoenix long shot is a 75-1 underdog.
Yeah, because it was going from 40-1 to 50-1 to 61, 71, and he put the phone down after he asked about, and then he went, "I believe her," and he went to get her, didn't he?
Yeah, then he went to get her, and of course she fought him tooth and nail trying to get from the prison, into his car.
Yeah.
And then Clint was like, "Fine, we'll just put her on a gurney, put her in an ambulance, have him call me a car, then we'll just go there and we'll take off."
But when they get there, the car explodes.
Yeah, the ambulance driver makes the spin around and says, "Okay, well, just go check to make." Clint Eastwood tells the ambulance driver, "Just go make sure the keys are in the car and we're all set."
Yeah.
The ambulance driver walks over there, boom, car explodes. Clint Eastwood's like, "Okay, let's get the hell out of here." So then they jump in the ambulance and they start driving. Then there's a cop car gets behind them in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Sandra, O'Malley's like, "Well, just stop the car. There's cops behind us."
Well, because they pull over, didn't they? get to a, is it a hotel room, a motel room?
Oh, well, I think you jumped a little bit ahead
Oh, did I?
because at first the cops got behind them, and then the cops shot at the ambulance. Then she shot back at them, and then disabled their car and
Oh,
they crashed.
I remember, yeah, because she hits the window like 3 or 4 times.
Then
The
they,
window,
and they
and
crashed
then
off,
they
and then she
put
said,
the thingy, didn't they?
yeah. Then she says, go down a few blocks and turn, and we'll just hide out there.
Yeah,
And it turns out it's one of her places that she does her business with.
yeah,
She said, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And then Clint Eastwood makes the phone call to his commissioner, Blake Lock, and says, well, no, we're here. Someone came after us. We're going to go here and here. We're going to try to figure out a way to get back to Phoenix.
yeah,
And the commissioner's like, well, do what you got to do. Get back as soon as you can. Click. So, Clint Eastwood looks out and sees, one cop car pull up. And the second one pull up. He's, oh, great. No, we'll just get her and we'll go. Well, then 16 other cop cars show up. Everyone comes out with, their shotguns and their pistols. And then, when they get on the bullhorn, like, this is the place, come out with your hands up.
yeah.
And, Shocker's like, what the heck's going on? And then he goes to, get Sandra Locke's character out of the bathroom, and it's locked. He breaks that in, she's gone.
Yeah.
And then when he broke it, he shot the doorknob to get in. The cops took that as a shot at them. So then they just,
they laid into it, didn't they? And it just went like there was must have been thousands of bullets that went through there.
Yeah, there had to be.
Holes everywhere, and you're like, how did they survive this? Because it's like bang, 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 bang constantly.
Yeah, and then Clint was crawling on the ground, and he finds that drainage hole.
Yeah.
And he goes through there, and she's sitting there like, basically, what took you so long? And then they pan back to the house, and the house just collapses.
Yeah.
And then that was honestly pretty funny.
It was. I found it quite funny. I thought the whole scene was crazy.
Yeah.
And really, really silly because it was like, no, like you said earlier, no one reloaded.
Yeah, everyone, even guys with shotguns, they're sitting there, 7, 8 shots of a shotgun. It was silly.
I mean, it was like they were at infinite ammo in a video game or something. It was bang, 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 bang constantly.
Yeah, I mean, back then a lot of guys had 6-shooters.
Yeah.
But they're shooting, 15, 16 shots out of the same gun with no reload.
So it's kind of funny when you see that.
Yeah.
But that I think the whole film is crazy like that.
But I think that's probably on purpose. And then, like we said earlier, to maybe get away a little bit from the whole Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Another Dirty Harry came out like a year before the Gauntlet. So then they end up going to they kidnap a cop.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. And then they tell him everything's going on. That Clint Eastwood calls his commissioner again and said, well, I pretty much kidnapped the police officer, and now we're trying to get to the border. Have some guys meet us at the border so we can, finally get this done, so we can have people stop shooting at us.
Yeah.
So then they're driving along, and then the cop who was kidnapped starts talking to Sandra Lash's character, knowing that she's a hooker, and asks her all these kind of disgusting personal questions. And Clint Eastwood gets tired of it and says, just leave her alone. And then Amalia's like, no, just please let him talk. Ask whatever you want. And then she flips it on the cop and makes him feel really bad. He slams on the brakes and screams at her. And finally, Clint just grabs the cop and puts the gun to his temple. Just drive the effing car. So finally, he starts driving the car, and then when they're driving, Sandra Locke's character brings up the car. Oh, what's been the one constant? Basically, what's been the one constant? Every time you call this one person, someone comes after us.
Yeah.
Well, Eastwood, of course, he doesn't want to believe it. And then, and the cop sitting in front was like, are you going to turn against your own kind? Basically, are you going to turn against other cops and take the word of a hooker?
Well, the thing is, when there's been proof that basically when they're calling the one person, but there is corruption in the police department.
Yeah.
you're not going to trust your own kind, are you?
Nope.
You know, and when you know the mafia's after you as well,
Yep.
it's like, who do you trust? You can't trust anybody. So it's just you and the prostitute, basically, trying to get from one place to another to get where you've got to get.
Yeah, and that's what they had to do.
I mean, the whole journey from there to there is action-packed.
Oh yeah.
You know, non-stop, and there's violence, there's fighting, and by the time when they get where they're going, they're just like,
They're
whew,
spent.
yeah,
They're spent.
you know, it's like, whew, and it shouldn't have even been that hard.
It should have just been as simple, she gets in the car, takes a little 12-hour drive, does testifying, and she's done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the bit when they're on the train.
Oh yeah. I mean, they get pulled up, and surprise, surprise, who it is.
When they're on the train and they're fighting, I felt like it was actually quite well done.
Yeah, because there wasn't, it wasn't he just kicked their butt and that was it.
I love the bit where the woman says to him, "You want to hit a woman, would you?" And he just punches her off. Just like, so,
he has to go, bam.
you're like, bang, you're done, Yeah. But the one thing I think the highlight of the film isn't the action; it's the relationship that builds between them.
Yeah.
From being kind of abusive and untrusting to being very caring and very relaxed together.
I mean, at first, O'Malley does smack her in the face.
Yeah.
But she in turn kicks him in the nuts.
Yeah.
So again, like you said, she's a bit soft, and so is he. But when they have to be tough, they're tough.
Well, I think it's like most films that are really good in this kind of situation, is that they start off tough with each other, then they start warming up to each other, and then there's this kind of respect and romance between them, which is kind of funny because by the time the movie ends, you forget she was a prostitute.
Yeah.
You see her as a woman and somebody completely different to what you saw her as at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, when she calls her mother, I met someone, he's really nice, he's really special. I mean, it was just to shine her mother on.
Yeah.
But you could tell Clint Eastwood's character was like, I could see that. He was actually warming up to the idea of maybe having a future with her. Granted, it's only been a day and a half, but still,
Well, I think that's the thing. I think it's amazing because, you and me both know that anything can happen at any time.
Absolutely.
Like you met your wife, you met her in somewhere you'd never thought, So it's one of those situations where that can happen and blossom.
Yeah.
Because you'd never expect it to, but it could. And I felt like the character was very attractive. I felt like they worked well together, and you could actually imagine them together.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
But I know sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say you can tell that they did other movies together.
Yeah, their chemistry back then was just out of this world.
Yeah, and phenomenal, So you can tell that they've done movies together, or that they would be going on to doing other movies together if you hadn't seen, the others. So I think it's kind of a magical thing because it's a bit like Doris Day with Rock Hudson.
Yeah.
The chemistry was there, and that's what you want in a movie. Because without that, you haven't really got anything when you've got a male and female lead.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really see anyone else from that time plugged into those two roles.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides those two,
Well, one of my favourite bits of the movie is in the Rocky area.
Yeah.
When the bikers turn up.
Yeah, Clint pulls out the badge and
they try and fight him, and he fights them back, and then they just leave.
Yeah.
I felt that was a great scene because it showed that he was a fighter. The whole movie shows that he may have given up to a degree and drinks, but when it comes down to it, he's a real fighter and believes what's right.
Yeah, when he's not drunk or whatever. He's actually a really gritty, good cop.
Yeah, and I think that's what the story's about. It's about him being a good cop, about how he believes in doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that the whole journey with Gus along the way teaches him that that's what he needs to do. You know, and shows him what he's been missing in his life.
And he even tells her that he just basically gave up on any kind of relationship with anybody. Really had no need for love in his life because all he had was the job.
Yeah.
And that's something deeply personal. He probably would only tell her.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think when your life is on the line and you're fighting to keep each other alive, there is this kind of respect. It's like when you're in the army. You know, you've got to believe in your buddies, otherwise you're not going to live, are you? You know, and
Exactly.
with that, and that's how they had to be together because they couldn't trust anyone. They could get killed at any time, and the only person they could trust was each other, even though they didn't like each other. And eventually, that builds respect. You know,
On both sides.
yeah.
I love the helicopter chase.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that bit. I thought that bit was fantastically, and I thought that was well executed as well. You know, the camera angles and everything.
Yeah. I mean, just the whole thing with them trying to swerve around and catch him with the right angle, and each one kept stopping in the tunnels and then blowing past him.
Yeah.
And how the helicopter wrecks is actually pretty amazing for its time.
The film, in my view, is way ahead of its time. You know, it's one of those films where if you looked at it and you saw it, you go, "Oh, this is late '80s." You know,
Right.
but seeing it and knowing it's from the '70s is really amazing because it shows how far the movie industry was coming along at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and how incredible the movies were back then. I mean, you don't get movies like that now.
No, first of all, it costs too much.
Yeah, I mean, the problem now is I think Clint Eastwood's movies, they're all special in the fact that they're practically all movies but you can't get happen now because either it'd be the PG-13 strike of death or it'd have to be some sort of comedy.
Yeah.
You know, to even
It's completely different.
exactly. So I feel like these movies are films that people should appreciate and watch because they're of their time, but in all the best ways possible.
Yeah, this a movie like this, it may sound a little odd because it's kind of a goofy movie, but it's actually pretty special. It's different. It's really different for him to show that those kind of emotions back then. Dirty Harry was just a badass, grab his gun, shoot somebody, and that was pretty much it.
I mean, the movie's goofy, but it's goofy in the right sense. So it's never over the top.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays, if you watch things like The Other Guys, it's over the top crazy. You know, none of it really makes sense. It's just a comedy. And I think a film like this is something that you want to sit back, you want to watch, and you want to have a enjoying time of watching a man's film.
Yeah.
You know, the ending. I thought the ending was crazy. I thought it was like unbelievable.
Well, have you know they basically hijack a bus and they have some of the stronger guys in the bus basically build them like a steel barrier around the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And O'Malley calls into his buddy saying, "Well, I'm coming at this time off this exit straight into the courthouse, basically. Tell the commissioner I know what he's doing. I'm coming."
Yeah.
They show up and half the Phoenix police force unloads on them.
Which, in my view, was kind of better than at the motel place.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, again, it was unbelievable because they would have shot the wheels out immediately.
Yeah, well, that makes so much more sense. Just shred the tires and they're done.
Because at the end, where they're at the bit where it stops, they shoot the tires, and you're like, why didn't they do that at the beginning?
They could have done that, 3,000 rounds ago.
Yeah, exactly. And they get shot through, and they're not really that injured that much, and you're just sitting there going, wow. I'd love to be sitting there. The place gets shut up, and me just be able to walk out.
Oh yeah, just survived, a double hail of gunfire.
Yeah, it's
Wasn't
like being,
back.
it's like being mowed down by a machine gun.
Yeah.
You know?
Standing there in a steel barrier with someone unloading a machine gun over your head for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And all the positions that the police were in, it would have gone every direction. There's no way it would have missed them completely.
Oh, I know.
You know?
I mean, first of all, they're partially covered. And, they're shooting the windshield, but yet the little slot in front of them never, with the glass never gets hit.
Which is impossible. But we've got to remember, this is not only an action with a little bit of comedy. It's also a 70s movie, and there wasn't a lot of common sense in a lot of movies. I mean,
movies like this are not made for common sense.
I mean, we could analyze any movie from any decade, from a decade later, we'd go, but this don't make sense. And,
we can pick any movie apart.
Yeah, exactly. Every movie has things that don't make sense. That's why they're movies, because they're there to enjoy. We're not supposed to take them seriously.
Exactly.
We're just there to enjoy them. Like we want to be Clint Eastwood's character. We want to feel like, yeah, we could drive that, we could survive that.
Absolutely.
We don't want to think, oh, it really died, and so would we, because we want to watch it for the enjoyment.
Yeah.
The whole point of watching movies is the fact that we escape reality and we enjoy the movie and feel like we're there.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed the movie. It was the first time I ever watched it.
I haven't seen it in like probably 15 years.
It was the first time I'd ever seen the movie, and I remember picking it up for like $6.99.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it looks a bit like Dirty Harry, And I was like, yeah, I'll pick this up. And I'm glad I finally got to watch it, because it, to me, was one of those movies that I could watch again.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I did watch it again, there's so many things that I missed the first time, which I would see now and probably laugh about even more.
Yeah.
Same with action. There's things in it, but I'm like, oh, I probably would have like watched those action scenes again. Because one of my favourite Clint Eastwood movies from the 90s, is it the 90s? Was The Rookie.
Oh, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, the Charlie Sheen one. And I really enjoyed that. And I think that was kind of like getting near the end to where Clint Eastwood was being that hard cop,
Yeah.
But when
he was in his 70s then.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
When you think he had been doing that for a good amount of, a good few decades.
Yeah.
It really makes you feel like you've got a lot more respect for the guy, because he has achieved a lot in cinema.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it for 60 years, so he knows a thing or two.
Exactly, and he's still directing movies now. I mean, what was your fault of watching The Gauntlet again?
Well, I mean, I don't remember having that much fun watching it. Because I'm honest, I had a lot of fun watching it. Some parts cracked me up. I love the fact that it was made in '77. Sandra Locke's character can be like a really strong woman character.
Yeah.
Regardless of what her profession was or whatever. I enjoyed it. Again, the action scenes. I watched the helicopter scene over and over again.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, but first, he's standing in that phone booth talking to his buddy. All of a sudden, there's a sniper rifle sticks out of the helicopter, and away they go.
What made me laugh was the sniper shoots at him and misses, right? But he doesn't hear it until the second one hits the glass.
Right. The fact that if the person's a police sniper, okay, Clint Eastwood, Shockey steps out of the phone booth and looks at them.
Yeah, like
wide open. They can pop him right there if they wanted to.
In reality, that would have took 2 seconds. He would have got one in the head.
Yeah,
like boom. But again, I thought the whole film, the whole movie, I felt had so much that probably many people have missed, because, like we've said before, when you see a film from the 70s, a lot of people go, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch something now. But most of the best cinema is from the 70s and 80s, especially cop-wise, when you want to see policemen and stuff like that. I feel like the 70s and 80s were the best time for that. I feel like now you don't really have that. And I think a lot of people, if you want to enjoy some hard edge police movies, you watch things like Dirty Harry, you watch things like The Gauntlet, you watch things like that, you know, because that was the time where it was more fun to watch those things. Because now I don't think in the last few years I've seen a hard-edged police action movie.
You know, that hasn't been done 1,000 times by 1,000 other people.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
again, something like Gauntlet and Dirty Harry couldn't be remade because they're done so well that nothing could actually compare to it.
Well,
Especially Dirty Harry.
I don't think anyone could replace Clint Eastwood either.
No.
You know, because Clint Eastwood was that guy. You know, he had that magic. He had that look.
And to me, watching the Gauntlet, I didn't see Dirty Harry at all.
No,
I saw Ben Shockley.
yeah. I mean, when you look at it, start off with, when you look at the cover, you think, oh, Dirty Harry. Once you get in the movie, Ben
Not at
Shockley.
all.
And you see a completely different character who is completely the opposite, but at the same time, is somebody you can imagine who works in the same department as Dirty Harry, but he's a completely different person.
Yeah.
And I think when an actor can do that, I think that is what really makes them special.
That's what makes the whole movie special.
Yeah.
All the characters, the corrupt DA.
Yeah.
You know. And the actor who played the DA, who was that? Michael Cavanaugh. I saw him a lot in the '80s doing similar, bad cop, bad DA roles.
I would have liked to have seen more of the Mafia.
Yeah, they didn't actually show any of it.
Exactly. I would like to have seen more of the Mafia, and I'd like to have seen more about what they were doing, because it seemed mostly through the movie it was the police.
Right.
You know, and the odd weird people like the bikers and stuff, like the odd people popping in. But I never felt like there was any real mafia presence there.
Just the presence of someone said MOB, and then that's when Shockley was like, oh no.
I mean, I would have liked the ending if it actually showed them in the courthouse.
I thought it was funny when they do all that shooting, they finally walk out. He takes O'Malley, has the piece of paper. I have her here to appear in court with the. I thought it was hysterical.
It was. I mean, I would have liked to have seen them in the courthouse. I'd like to have seen her testifying, at the end, and I'd like to have seen that. But that's not what an action movie is about. You know what I mean? So.
Yes. Sometimes it's not actually about her testifying. Just getting them there was it.
But it would have been nice. I would have liked that, because I would have felt like that would have cemented the ending more.
Yeah, look, extended out 5 minutes and done something with that.
Yeah. So yeah, the movie overall. What's your view on it? Overall, like, if you had to recommend it, what would you say?
I would definitely recommend it. I mean, just if you want good action, really good acting, great script. And there are, again, some truths have been pulled a little, but you don't mind that kind of stuff, I would highly recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
Good action. There's kind of a love story, I guess. But overall, without a doubt, 5-star.
Well, if I had to recommend it, I'd say it's definitely a movie that you should pick up. If you like Dirty Harry movies, you should pick this up but not expect that.
Yeah.
You should also, if you're into movies involving cops, you should get this. And I think if you're a big fan of Clint Eastwood, you should get this. I think if you want a good action movie with a good adventure in the mix, you should watch it, because I think it's got a lot that brings fun to you when you watch. Like, I like how they had these different ways of moving about, whether it was the ambulance, a car, a train, motorcycle, a bus. And I like that because it changed it up a lot. It made it so it never got boring or got in the same routine. And that's what makes the movie so good. So I'd highly recommend it. I'd give it a 5-star. And I would say if you've never seen it, you should check it out, because it's definitely worth watching. Even if you're one of those people that's like, oh, I don't want to watch 70s movies, definitely give it a go because it will change your mind and you will want to watch a lot more.
And you want us to do more reviews on more 70s cop movies.
Yeah, exactly. That's about right. I like that. That's good. So, is there anything else you'd like to say about the movie?
Just I agree with you. You get a chance to pick it up somewhere, pick it up. Just it's a really good time. Don't take it too seriously, and just really enjoy it.
Exactly. So, as always, guys, I think we're done with the review.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you guys for watching me and John, and we'll be back.
Very much.
And we'll be back next time with another review coming soon.
Very soon.
Take care,
Bye.
guys.